I don't know.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Screw it. You should just know what it is, people.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 gets a new story trailer from D23, and they also released a short little clip of the new Utada Hikaru title song.
Yeah. I will say this before we jump into the what this game has to offer. This is doing nostalgia right, in my opinion. It's genius. Whoever thought of it is a flippin' genius. But let's talk about what we're going to see from the new Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay, well, the first big thing, the Monsters, Inc. world that has been showcased. It was like the first or second thing, I think it's like the second thing you see in the trailer. And it's cool. I think that they did a very good job with the character design for the Monsters world, because that's been a common theme, right? You kind of go to a new world and your outfit changes a little bit. You know, I remember going to the Nightmare Before Christmas world, and he's sitting there wearing like the pumpkin on his face like and stuff, and I thought that was it's great to see that they're sticking true to that, and and
you get to be cool Monsters Inc. monsters, kind of. Yeah. And it's just, they did a good, the design of this game is, as I think everyone knows, the design's great. And it looks cool.
Oh, one other thing you can kind of catch in the trailer is there's a short little glimpse of, like, Rapunzel.
From Tangled. Yeah.
Right.
So they're doing a Tangled world on top of, they revealed that, I guess, also.
Tangled, that's got to be a development nightmare. She's got such long flowing hair, and it was always a key part of her character. But it's
Rapunzel.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be interesting. I think there's a really full world there with Rapunzel. There's a nice bad guy, you know.
Yeah, there is. There's two nice. There's two main good guys and a horse.
Yeah, so and a horse.
Like it's
so. I mean, I feel like that world will be cool to explore. We've obviously seen glimpses of Hercules already, but instead of it being like the Colosseum, it's in the sky. Like you see more of like them in the clouds. You're like up there with the gods and stuff with Zeus.
They showed a little. They kind of taken a shot for shot from another trailer from before that they used for part of it, but it still looks good. It looks even better now. Obviously, they're a little bit farther along in development, but it's like you said, it's cool the way that your character changes going into every world. Another big development, it looks like, we don't know this for sure, but the Monster Inc. world in the trailer, you can see you're using a Monster Inc. Keyblade right from the start, or while you're in the world. And traditionally in the Kingdom Hearts games, you wouldn't get that until you had finished the world.
Right.
It might be the summon that you get once you complete the world instead of both.
There's a couple of things with the summon, since you brought that up, that are kind of worth pointing out. You see a little glimpse of them using like the teacup ride from Disney World
and Land,
and Land, and there's also like an allusion to the little Buzz Lightyear shooting ride from Disney World as well.
Yeah,
and so I think it's neat that they're pulling in these as kind of like tools for you to use. They're pulling in like all aspects of the Disney universe to kind of like apply in there. So it feels like almost as if like nothing's off the table, and you don't know really what to expect because they could pull anything.
Right, and it's different from the old games where they kind of just had, here's the character. That's your summon. Now they're doing a whole, like they're changing the way the character looks. They're doing a whole new look for the characters when they are summoned, and like you said, there might be like the teacups or the other things. Like they could be. There's such a huge potential for different things they can bring into this game.
And I mean, they've released some concept art showing off the Big Hero 6 world. I'm kind of excited about that. That'll be cool to like hang with Baymax and like try to, explore that San Fran Tokyo kind of hybrid world that they created. Now, the Toy Story world, it looks so good.
It looks ridiculously good. I mean, it looks Toy Story 3 quality good.
Yeah, it's almost as if Disney's Pixar built the world for them. Just straight up handed over all the assets and said, like, we trust you, do us proud with this. because it's almost indistinguishable until you see Sora and Goofy and Donald walking out as little like Lego people.
I mean, it is legitimately better
Yeah.
than the original Toy Story. I mean, I don't think there's. Wouldn't even question. Looks better than the original Toy Story.
Oh, for sure.
Probably looks better than Toy Story 2.
It definitely is right there on par with Toy Story 3 and how well that was animated.
In terms of like the world around you. I don't think it's necessarily.
How they built it. And
the animations aren't going to be as good because it's a game, but
they even got the animated, well, at least for the cinematics that we've seen, the depth of field even matches like how the camera shots were done in Disney's
it's in
Toy Story 3.
It's really good. Monsters Inc. looks better than Monsters Inc.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like they had to tackle some challenges with Sully's fur that didn't.
Yes, I agree.
That's something that I noticed right off the bat, that it's only with Sully, because Mike looks just as good.
Yeah.
And the other guys look good, but Sully's fur seems clumpy and short-haired compared to. It's not as fluid as it was.
I agree. It looks more rigid, and like it just looks more rigid in the game trailers that we've seen, and it doesn't look like this super fluffy, nice fur that you would love to pet. It looks more like a freaking little
like a video game.
It looks like a game. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's that might be something that they're going to clean up. That it could also just be
They still have time.
They still have time, but it could also just be the fur was really, really hard for them to get the way they wanted it to be. Just like Rapunzel's hair was a nightmare. I'm pretty sure Sully's fur was probably a nightmare for them to get as well. But it's the design that I think wins me over. The design is so great that I just can't help but think, you know what, it does look really good. Even though at times, like with Sully's fur, where I'm like, meh.
I mean, you can't really get mad about that.
I'm not mad about it. It's just more like
it's
you just
such
look at it
a
and you're
fine detail.
Like you just want it to be perfect, and it's not. But it's not the end of the world. You said, I'm not the type of person who's gonna.
They've got plenty of, not really plenty of time. The game now has a release date, right, or at least a release window of 2018. So before the end of the year, they do have time though to tweak and edit and possibly work on Sully's fur and things. But
I would expect this game at the end of the year.
Something we noticed from the Utada Hikaru track that was released.
I think this trailer has some big story reveals in it. If you are a big fan of Kingdom Hearts and you haven't gotten a chance to watch this yet, definitely we recommend you do.
If you catch into every single little story nuance that they kind of throw at you, I'm impressed, because that game is so hard to follow.
Yeah,
there's ridiculous. So many like tiny little DS games and GBA games that came out along the way that are just like,
here's more.
I don't know half of these things. Yeah,
here's some plot.
I'm glad I picked up the HD remaster of everything, so that I can kind of just be prepared for what is to come and get into that Kingdom Hearts mindset. But even the Hikaru Utada stuff, it like lets you know that Riku is still a part of the story. Like at the very end, the very last scene of the Don't Think Twice theme song reveal, you'll see that Riku puts a Keyblade in the ground and says, "I'll leave it here for my other meat."
But there were other little reveals, like the pink-haired guy, or the guy who's wearing a mask in Monster Inc. World, where you just kind of go like, "Who is that?"
Yeah.
Or you're just like, "Wait, this guy was connected to some other person who from some other one of those smaller titles where they had nothing to do with the main characters."
Yeah, so, I felt like watching this, because I'm not familiar with every title, that I wasn't sure who I've seen before and who I haven't.
Right.
Like, who's a new bad guy and who's not.
Who are they bringing back? Yeah, exactly.
Both of the trailers are worth watching. I guess the trailer and the song reveal are worth watching. Even if you don't care about the song, it's kind of slow in my opinion compared to some of the high energy the old ones had. But there's definitely a lot there. For you to sit and analyze. And if you're one of those big Kingdom Hearts fans and you really enjoy looking through every tiny detail, these are a good couple of videos to pick apart and nitpick.
Agreed. Especially to hold you over for, like, I'm surprised this game is having a release this year. to be honest, because we haven't seen a ton of stuff. But now with this coming out, I'm a little more confident. I feel like okay, I can see this game coming out this year. They've shown us enough to give us the feeling that okay, they're on the right track here.
Right.